So I'm going, welcome, welcome. We're doing the love over fear section and jumping into the love section, because for the last month we've been um, doing the fear aspect of the mastermind, where we've really taken a conscious look at our fears and then really chosen consciously what we prefer. And so we've been working on that. Before that, we did a whole section on the grief recovery process. And that's something that just I'm going to take a note on. If you're feeling heavy, if you feel like making decisions is difficult, if you feel like you get really excited when you're around someone in high vibration, then you just drop back into like the quicksand, you're probably most likely in grief. And so we did a really powerful process as a group to get through that. And it's something that I work with clients and do with people as well. And it's just a really important thing to know as a human that we get into. We can get stuck in that energy, and it's no fun for anyone. And so it was really a neat experience to get people through that. And we just kicked off with the deep stuff right at the beginning of this. And so it's an ongoing mastermind where we kind of go into different topics, but it's really powerful. And it's just a beautiful experience of coming together as women, as humans. My vision is that we come together and go like, this is my heart. This is who I am. This is what I'm struggling with. This is what I want most in my life. This is what I need help with. This is who I want to be in the world. And so we play that game, and it's a really beautiful one. And then we have a retreat at the very end that we're going to do in September, a second week of September, with the mastermind group. So Kelsey, welcome. So let's all take a deep breath and just tune in. Just tune into what's going on in our own lives, in our own hearts. What's there? All this gratitude. Maybe there's some stuff that's not in the gratitude realm, but let's go ahead and just tune into our bodies and our breath, and breathe all the way down into our belly. And as you tune into your body and your breath, you may notice that your breath begins to slow. You may notice any tension in your body, so go ahead and breathe into that space. And as you begin to settle down into more and more stillness, notice that you can breathe into your heart, almost like you're breathing from your heart center. Your chest areas where you focus your attention. And just bring in the feeling of calm and peace. And allow the thought of something that you're incredibly grateful for. Maybe it's a puppy or a baby or someone like Catalina that makes you smile when you think of them. And just breathe that in. Feel that feeling of just pure gratitude, nothing but unconditional love, appreciation. Let your heart be filled with that feeling, and begin to think of the reasons why you love that person, that animal, that baby. I'm so grateful because you just allow the thoughts, the reasons to flood your mind and pour down into your heart. And allow that love, that appreciation to begin to spread out throughout your whole body. Notice your mind is filled with this vibration of gratitude, and notice why you're grateful for your mind. Because allow your mind to be filled with all the reasons why you're so grateful for your brain, for your beautiful face, for the smile. It gets to come upon it, and maybe even why you're grateful for your smile. because notice that may make you smile. Again, breathing that gratitude all through your body. Any other parts of your body you just want to flood with gratitude. Notice the reasons why. Your legs, your belly, your heart, your hands. Any reasons why. Expanding out beyond your body. Something surrounding you. Maybe it's your home, something within your home, wherever you are. Feeling the gratitude. Allowing yourself to think of reasons why you feel so much gratitude for that thing, that space, because beyond your home, maybe into your city, something in your city, someone in your city. Allowing your mind to think of the reasons why you feel so much gratitude for that person or that thing or that place. All the way out into the country that you're in. Something you're so grateful for about your country, about where you're at. All the way out to the entire world. Just letting that vibration of gratitude to just swirl around, to fill the entire earth. That amount of gratitude for all the things on the earth and around the earth. And allowing that energy of gratitude to flow all the way back from around the world. Even the gratitude of others from the world coming swirling back towards you from the country that you're in, from the city that you're in, all the way back from around your home and back into your heart, and feeling that amount of gratitude. Just notice how your body vibrates with gratitude. And now I want you to allow yourself to have one more experience of gratitude where you allow something that's difficult for you, someone, a situation, maybe a fear, to come into your mind. And allow yourself to experience asking, what am I grateful for in this? I'm grateful for this situation because. And notice how your mind can easily find reasons why you can be grateful even for this. What's the gift? What's the invitation? That's right. So go ahead and put a smile on your face. Maybe grateful for this meditation even. And wiggle your fingers and toes, put your arms above your head. And the word is yes. Awesome. Okay, so if you can come onto the camera, if you're able to, we'd love to see your beautiful faces. Any shares from this meditation? Anyone have kind of an aha of like, oh, I can even find gratitude in this, or just how do you feel? Anyone want to share? Yeah, go ahead, Jolene. Kelsey's next.
It's funny. I just got back from a wonderful week up on the Oregon coast, and where it went took me was, so my brother from another mother took us out deep sea fishing, and I didn't even get a share. That's where I was last week, in waves that were unbelievable. And it's interesting, we were 40 miles off coast, and you just see how small you fit. And so what came to my mind as you were talking about that, it's the same. It was like, wow, there's this world that's so big that my grateful is this big compared to this whole entire globe of beauty and whatnot. So anyway, that was just what came to my mind.
I love that. Like even our gratitude, like there's so much potential for expansion. Like, right? Like you're like, whoa, I saw how little I am, but like how much could I expand my gratitude? That's cool. Kelsey, go ahead.
Well, I like how you said it, so much potential for expansion, because today has been off for me. So gratitude was not as easy. So it was really good for me to just try do a little bit, just try a little bit. And then when you were like, think of something that is basically triggering, I was like, ah! But it helped me because I think just kind of pushing myself through the discomfort to expand into what is on the invitation of it was helpful. And the person who I've been triggered by, because I know she's just a lovely invitation. And so the thing that I wanted to share too was when you were kind of having us go into gratitude for the thing around us. I can't remember exactly what your guidance was, but what was coming up in my mind was my daughter and just like cuddling her. And then I was like, ooh, but what feels so good to me too is painting and like the feeling of paint on my hands. And I was like, that's kind of unusual. That does bring me so much joy. Why am I not doing that more? So super
Cool.
helpful for me to like jump into that. And the past few days, the universe has been like, go to the joy, go to the love, go to the thing that makes you feel like magic and meaning in the world. And it's been kind of weird the past few days. And so thank you, because it helped point me into the simple things that bring me
Yeah.
joy.
Yeah. And isn't that cool how when we get into the vibration, like we're like magnets for more of that vibration, right? That's the idea of
Yes.
it. It's we flood our body with it, and then we're like, oh yeah, oh, I can see the vibration. And then the other thing is just with seeing someone that is your trial, like they're doing things wrong, or they're hurting me, and kind of giving them that power to be the attacker, and then realizing, oh my gosh, they're just the ones brave enough to give me the gift of forcing me to be on my path. Like, right? Like we can look at it in a different way of like, oh, like I keep saying Trey is my greatest teacher, right? Like, oh my gosh, wow, he's just given me another way to grow and learn. Like it's not, I prefer him not doing these things, but if I can see him that there's nothing to forgive, there's nothing to blame him for, if I can see that it's all part of my path, right? So if I can see it in gratitude, like, wow, I'm so grateful that he has given me this opportunity to step into my career, and I'm so grateful that he is really giving me an opportunity to step up financially. Like there's just a lot of things that I can, if I look at it that way. Now, is it just spiritual bypassing where I'm like, okay, I'm just going to ignore the fact that this isn't okay, and what this person did is hurtful, or I have been hurt by someone. I definitely have to address that. But when you want to get into that place of feeling better, like there is a way. So
I had one more thing I had to tell you that
awesome.
came to mind. When I was in my like, I want to be grateful right now. I was like, I'm grateful for Paige. I can put my Paige face on. I could do this. Like I literally was imagining you and just you're just such a flipping light. Like I just love you and you help me you're my expander in this. So I just had to say that. Thank you, Paige.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. I put on an event last week called Love Thyself, Know Thyself, Love Thyself. And it was really beautiful. And I had my friend came in and did some photos. He's like, laugh like Paige, like do a Paige. What did he say? He said something like laugh like Paige or smile like Paige. And then everyone's like, like, oh, those are big smiles. But anyway, thank you. It was like an affirming moment. I appreciate that. Thank you. Well, Mom, welcome. It's good to see you. And we've got some guests on here. We're going to jump into wrapping up the stuff about fear. I really loved we have a workbook. And so we've been going through that and we're jumping into the section around love. But one of the things that we've been doing this past week is asking ourselves, what do you fear about money, about retirement or death? What do you fear about aging? What do you fear about love? What do you fear about the planet? So we've kind of just been looking, and it's interesting because I have this reaction like, oh, I don't have any fears about it, like my immediate thought is that. And then I go, okay, I'm going to do this. Like, I'm going to go into it. And I start to see, oh yeah, like I do have fears, and it is important to recognize them and bring them out of our automatic, like our programming. So when we bring it into the conscious mind, it can come out of the subconscious, and the subconscious is what's running 95, depending on how awake you are, 90 to 95% of what you're doing, saying, thinking, believing, everything all day, every day. And so when we start to have a conscious look at it, we can then act out of choice and in a more empowered way, rather than just from automatic conditioning way, right? So I know with mine, like one of the things that I realized that I have this fear of is a lot around like love, right? Not being enough, being hurt again, being hold on one second. It's my teen wanting his cell phone back, but he doesn't get it. So there you go, you guys. Yeah, when you were doing this writing, does anyone want to share just what kind of came up? And for those that haven't been doing the work, just looking at what is a fear, what's a belief that you can become aware of and that you're ready to flip on its head, right? So for instance, like my fear that I'll be hurt again, that maybe not having love again, not finding my person again, right? Not having him choose me and me choose him. There's just something I'm single again. There's kind of like all these fears that are coming up around it, right? And so we're looking at my past relationships and then having stuff come up around that. And so look, like I have a whole page of it. Like these are the fear. And I kind of was able to look at it and go, okay, like this is the fear. And then the next question is, what do you prefer to have faith in about love? And so what do you prefer to have faith in rather than this fear? And so I'd love for each of us to go through and just share briefly, just say, what's the fear or what's the belief that's fear-based? And then what's the faith and the belief that you'd like to have instead? So for me, one of them was, and one of the things that I've been going through just as I've been looking at all this fear is there's actually core beliefs. Like one that we uncovered in our mastermind was, I'm afraid it's never going to end, right? I'm afraid I'm always going to be single. I'm always going to be alone. This single dumb thing of doing everything by myself is never going to be over, right? What if that is, so this never over thing. And when I kind of realized, whoa, this is a big one for humanity. Like you look at like people committing suicide over this belief, right? It's never going to be over. That's a big one. Another one is like, I'm not enough, right? It's a fundamental, like, if I'm not enough, I'm going to die. There's this feeling of I'm not enough, so I can't get this job. I can't do this. I can't have this. I can't be who I like. It's a limiting belief, but if we break down the fears, it ultimately comes to some of these. And if you come up with any other of like those fundamental rock solid, like on humanity level fears, I was kind of coming up with a list of them. But I think it's good to know, because if we can recognize a fear and then go all the way down, we'll find, oh yeah, it's this one. And then we can really work on the root stuff, right? And that's where in this mastermind, we do one-on-one hypnosis sessions and breakthrough work, mindset breakthrough work, where you can actually go to that root cause and then reprogram the mind. So that's really cool. So anyway, mine was, I'm not enough to be fully chosen, and I may never find the person that's going to fully choose me, right? And then my new belief is I am enough and I get to choose. And I have faith and trust that I am going to find my partner and my life partner that I get to build a world with. So that's my new one. And that feels, oh, okay, I like that one better. And so I'm going to write it down and I'm going to put it up on my mirror and I'm going to repeat it in the morning. And that's my new belief. And I have to reprogram it. And how do we reprogram the mind? We do repetition and we bring in emotion and we do hypnosis, right? We do this stuff, but we can reprogram the mind. So that's all to say that I'd love to hear your shares and what your belief is and what you're ready to reprogram. And Kelsey, I feel like you're just ready for it.
So I have one that I could use some help with.
Awesome.
So the fear is that if I put more energy into my career or the thing that I really am passionate about, I put more energy into it, I'm going to throw off the balance in my home again. And for my kids and being a mom, and that I will lose like the peacefulness that I've created. And the fear that it's not going to be consistent. Like, so there's a lot of unknowns that are tied to that too.
So if I were to boil it down into what it's as a core belief, it would be, I can't figure it out or I'm going to fail. Does that resonate?
Yeah, but kind of. Because I know that I'm going to fail. And I'm just like looking for the most gentle way to fail. Because I'm so used to failing. I honestly have like a pretty healthy relationship with failure. It's like, oh, I learned. Like, I don't look at all the times like, oh, I just, like failed millions of times. I'm more like, oh, I learned. So I think there's a part of me that's
I'm
like,
not going to do it right. Is that better?
Kind of.
Okay.
I think it's that I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I'm just following my heart and I'm just pulling the pieces together and trusting the process and all the things that I know and what I have figured out in my home. Routine has been a hard thing for me, and I finally have routine. And now I'm about to throw it all up in the wind again. And I'm like, oh, so
what's
I
the
don't
fear?
know.
The fear is
It could be failure, but the fear is that I'm can't do it all.
The fears I can't have it all.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. And what if I can't have it all? What does that mean?
That means that I didn't really get what I want, or I didn't really accomplish what my heart saw as potential.
So I can't have what I want.
Yeah.
I can't have what I want. Where else does that show up?
Um, uh, I mean, it definitely shows up in the thing that's been on my list has been to have a home that is 4 bedrooms. I was really wanting it to be a home that I could buy, right? But I can't buy right now. It's just like
The
the
stuff.
truth of my resources right now. And I need to be strategic about it because I decided to end my career last year. Well, not end it, but stop working the job I was working and totally transition. And now I'm starting this podcast and I'm coming back into old passions of like designing and trying to figure out what is this is like the story of my life. I'm always thinking about things that no one else in my circles is thinking about. And so it's like I'm like this trailblazer that's just gotta go and like figure it out by myself and just figure it out, trusting that the universe might bring me some signs that I'm on the right track. But there's always this, I don't know. I
Yeah.
can't have what I
So
want.
there's this fear, I can't have what I want. And you're getting the signs and you're moving along and you're courageous as heck. You're just like going forward like crazy. And what if you can't actually have, like, you have these visions, you're a visionary, right? So you have these big visions of things that no one else can even see yet. And then what if it isn't, what if you just can't actually create it? So what's the thing that you want to have faith and believe instead of I can't have what I want?
Mm, I think there's a combination. It's like the opposite of I can't have what I want is I can create what I came here to do, and I can be in my passion and it can bring in income, and it's safe for me to be that. Um, so it's safe for me to be passionate and I can bring income in with this. So it's like,
I mean, it's always actually even more simple than that. Like 90% of the time, it's just flipping it completely on its head. I can have what I want.
I can have what I want.
Yeah, I can have what I want. And you can say, I can have what I want in wisdom. I can have what I want in my passions. I can have what I want with as I step through life with moderation. I can have what I want when I'm divinely guided, right? When I stay in tune with the divine, I can have whatever I want, like what I want, because I'm in alignment with the divine, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's things like that to you can add to it, but really, like, what does it really take if you really tune into your inner being of I can have what I want when? What's the truth?
The truth of I can have what I want. I think the actual fear is it lies within sorry.
Great.
So I was aiming to write down my fear of um it's like back pages, right? But I have not been able to write it down. But it's the fear of when is it easier for you to fear what someone will do rather than have faith in them? And then the next one was, what's the longest amount of time you held faith in something or someone and had it turn out well? And I instantly went to relationships with my dad and my ex-husband, and the length of time that I trusted in that and it never worked out. It was like I wrote down the years that it didn't work out. And so this kind of ties into what I want, because it's like I'm afraid that I'm not going to be able to rely on other sources to help me have the balance in my home that I need in order to follow my passion. So so the longest amount of time thing was like, oh,
Yeah.
that was a long time of trusting without they couldn't follow through. So it wasn't me. It was like I had to do it all by myself, kind of thing. I have to do this by myself.
Yeah. So what if your new belief is I can have what I want when I trust, when I choose wisely who to trust, right? When I,
Yeah.
because you've figured that out. Like that's something that you've really learned the hard way, but you've learned it. Of there are people, I had the same list. I'm like, oh, this person, no, it didn't work out at all. My family, yeah, it worked out really great. Myself, yeah, it worked really well. This person, I still don't know whether that worked out, but this person, no. Like
Yeah.
you kind of go through and go, okay, like I'm figuring this out. I'm figuring out. And if you figure out and if you know who you can trust, you can you're amazing to co-collaborate with. You're amazing. Like you're in your marriage with the people that are safe to collaborate with, you can create worlds with. So can you have what you want when you collaborate with the divine, when you collaborate with your husband, when you collaborate with the people that are actually safe, that have shown you that it is okay to trust in them and to work with them? What's the question again? Is the longest amount of time you've held faith. Yeah. So if you work with the people that you do have faith with, that you can actually trust and it did work out well, then can you have what you want? What's the answer?
Yes.
How does that feel?
Uh, hard to say still.
Just say it. Say it again.
My daughter I can have what I want when I am wise about who I,
Have faith in.
yes, have faith in.
Try
I
to.
guess I'm still,
What's the block?
I don't know. I think I need to work through some more grief.
Yeah. When I trust myself, and then it's just knowing you can have what you want when you trust in yourself. Yeah. And so then you know what the path is, right? What's the gift? What's the invitation? The gift and invitation to learn to trust yourself. And that's not something you go, oh, okay, now I know what I need to do and I am. But that's something to work on, right? Like
Yeah.
do a session around trusting yourself. Because that's the root. It's actually trusting in yourself that you know who to have faith in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also take steps in direction that will provide actual results. And also be I don't know, the right direction. Like, taking the right action, taking the right direction, trusting myself that I can be in tune with what that looks like for myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though I
You're
have
definitely getting there. You have incredible intuition.
ghosted.
You have incredible intuition. You have incredible capacity to take right action. You have a track record of doing that. And so now it's a matter of just like stepping more into that, right? It's the idea of spiraling up. Like you're coming around to another level on your progression and you're going upward. And so you're like, wait, I'm back here at like not trusting myself. Oh yeah. oh, I have the tools. Boom, I'm back through it. And you're on the path to, oh, betrayal. Oh, hi, betrayal. Like, I'm here again. Oh yeah, I have the tools. I'm gonna get through it. But you're here to learn about learning to trust. You're like, when you jumped off the cloud, you said that you're like, okay, I guess I'm gonna learn how to break the like betrayal wounds of my past generations. I think I'm gonna come here and learn how to trust myself, because I haven't been able to, like, my ancestors never trusted themselves in ways that were as empowering as they could have been. I'm gonna do that this time, right? Like, whatever it is. But I think we saying I'm gonna learn a certain thing on this planet, so we keep coming around to it, and it's okay, right? And you're learning how to trust yourself. How beautiful. Like, who's learned something from this? Like, who relates to some of this, right? Like, we're all in this together. I totally relate. So beautiful, so beautiful. Well done.
Thank you.
Hey, Catalina.
So Kelsey, I just love you so much, and thank you for all of us. Well, talking for me, I don't know about anybody else, but like how you express and just, your authenticity and your love, to share the struggle of where you're at. And, it's like you're speaking for me, because I go, I feel the same way, and I'm thinking, but I think it's only me. And I think, in the moment, I have no access to anything else. And then you share all that, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm done. Kind of going like, okay, and then I was going to say, and then I was going to say, and I'm kind of going like, oh no, so thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, Catalina.
Yeah.
Love you too.
Catalina, do you have a belief system you're letting go of, and a new one you're replacing it with?
Well, a lot of that. So like not enough. And they're going to find out that I'm not enough. So my biggest fear is, they're going to find out. I'm not enough, not doing enough, I'm just not enough. The bottom line is, and they're going to find out any minute. And I wake up into that every day, into the comeback of like what I'm going to say when they find out. So I'm like in creation mode of a defense that has never happened. It hasn't happened. It really hasn't happened. Other things have happened, but that particular thing hasn't happened. And
Well,
yet,
this is this thing about fear. It's a freaking liar. Like, it is going to lie and lie and lie to you, tell you the worst case scenarios. It's not going to happen. It's just going to tell you so that you stay in the place that you are. Yeah, keep going.
yeah, and and I look and there's like no evidence, but it's what I wake up to in the morning of like I'm already in a defensive, gotta figure it out, partial attack mode, and then it's like, okay, so and really avoidance, and then lying, and then I'm going like, but wait a minute, nobody's actually said anything. It's all me. It's all me. So then when I get to that moment of like, I know that there's not anybody else saying that, then I can actually start moving forward and go, oh, that was fear. But I can't notice it immediately.
Yeah. So what's the turnaround thought? What's the thing that you want to have faith in instead of this belief that you're not enough and that people will find out?
That I'm desirable.
Yeah. Okay. So I want you to just close your eyes and just repeat that in your mind, like, I am desirable. Maybe it's I am desirable and I am enough. You just breathe that in, and I want you to feel what it feels like to just breathe in I am desirable. Feel and maybe imagine and see yourself going through life, just kind of walking with this feeling of knowing that you're desirable, that you're enough. Breathing it in. Imagine what it looks like to go through the day feeling, imagining, seeing yourself desirable, waking up in the morning and having the first thought in your mind, I am desirable, I am enough, I am lovable, I am loved. And getting up from that thought and going through your day. Noticing what it feels like in your body. Putting a smile on your face. And just knowing that's your reality. That's your future. That's who you are. How much better does that feel?
Yes, 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 yes. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. So that's how you do it. It's just like, right? It's that simple. We just rewire the brain. We wake up in the morning having different thoughts. So go, Kelsey. Kelsey has something she wants to show you.
I have to show you guys this book. It's called I'm Thinking My Life. It is seriously exactly this. And it teaches this is how it goes. I am creating my universe. I think the stars. I see stars. I am stars. Over and over and over with every single thing. Like
Oh,
I think I'm brave, and then I am brave.
I am brave.
It's literally the best book, and it's just exactly this.
Oh my gosh.
What
it's
you're
so
saying.
beautiful.
If we
Yeah,
think it and we rewire it, then we are it.
we are it. Yeah.
Well, and
Okay.
today, can I just share today? I learned something new. The word believe has being and living in it, and we have to be something and then live it in order to believe it.
Yeah.
I think
So
that's
the
really
quote
key.
is, I
Love
believe
that.
it, I be it, I live it, and therefore I am it.
I
Right?
love that.
It's really
Mhm.
beautiful. Great. We have 10 more minutes, so I want to hear the rest of you. Nancy, what about your belief? Do you want to share?
Hi.
Hey.
Yes. Um, so what came up for me during your meditation when you talked about, what is something that you're fearing, and that's typically something we try to avoid. So I had to look a little bit deeper. I'm like, yeah, I'm afraid about money. I'm afraid about finances. That there's never enough. That it never will end. And so I looked at that, and so what I decided to believe in and create, I just already created like 5 different affirmations for it, is that I believe I am successful. I like generating, a certain amount of income a month easily and consistently. I'm the kind of person who creates and generates this amount of money easily and consistently. I believe I can. I believe I am. I believe I will generate, blah, blah, blah. And just saying those things and listening to all of you, it's becoming part of my DNA. It's becoming part of who I am by just repeating those words and through my mind and my thoughts. And so that's, I believe I am successful.
Okay, so can
Very
I give you some
successful.
home play?
Yes.
Okay, so on your recorder, do you use the recording app on your phone? That's just like
Yes.
that one. So just record your voice, repeating those mantras. First thing in the morning, you're in theta state. So you're in flow state, in hypnosis, whatever words you want to use for that, but you're in the vibrational state of accessing subconscious. So you may as well use that time of day in the morning when you first wake up and your body is totally relaxed, but your mind, is turned on. Just reach over, hit it, and then just like listen to it. So just repeat those mantras for about 5 minutes, bathe your being in it. And then when you're going to sleep, same thing. And then you're using your dream state to actually work for you rather than against you. And just see, feel, and imagine it. Bring the feelings into your body and the repetition. And you're going to just be walking through the day like, oh yeah, I love money. Money loves me. I believe I can. I got this money. Like, I'm so successful. There's always enough money. Like, you're just going to be rocking it. It's going to be so good. So
Yeah,
sounds
I
like you
will
really
do
know
that.
about affirmations, but that's a really powerful thing to do, to use that dream state, that theta state during your day.
That's great. I will do that. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome, Nancy. Thank you for sharing. Okay, Queen of all things. Do you want us to just call you Queen of all things, or do you want us to know your name?
And my name is Margaret,
Margaret. Okay,
but I
Margaret.
like Queen of all things great.
We will definitely keep calling you that.
So what came up for me during that meditation was, I'm so grateful for my husband. And he has shown me literally this week how much more I can trust and rely on him. And so it was my own self that wasn't letting me trust and rely on him. And so that really came to the forefront for me. So that was a transformation for me.
That's so beautiful. Wow. What an example to all of us. Thank you so much. I felt Kelsey go like, it's like, that's a part of her learning, like, who can I trust? Who can I actually, right? Kelsey, I know, I was like, Kelsey's nodding. Kelsey's got it. Thank you for sharing, Margaret.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so what I hear was this fear, I can't trust others, or I can't trust, and then the flip is like, oh, I can trust him, and I can. That's really beautiful. Yeah, thank you.
I want you guys to all know Margaret. Margaret starts, we talk a lot every week, and in every conversation we have, I can count on her to say, I'm grateful for something. And it's taught me to look for what I'm grateful for. So I wanted to, and I don't think I've ever told you that, Margaret, but I rely on you for that. I rely on you, and it's predictable, and I can, I know that regardless of where I start, I end up searching for what I'm grateful for, because you always illustrate and say what you're grateful for. Every conversation.
Wow. I didn't know that. Thank you.
Oh, how beautiful. Amir. Oh my gosh, my cousin Erica is on here. Erica, it's so good to see you. Okay, do you want to share? I didn't see when you said feeling lonely.
Well, I was listening to, I forget what her name was. Was it Kelsey that was talking? And I was resonating with some of what she was saying, and wondering if maybe she was feeling, because she was saying that she am I unmuted? You guys can hear me?
We can hear you, yeah.
Oh, okay, good. Okay. So she was saying like she feels like she has to do it all by herself, and was wondering if maybe she was feeling lonely, and then wondering if she's gonna kind of sabotage the time that she has spent creating family balance, and then unbalancing it by putting in time for her job. And I can relate to that, feeling selfish. I don't know if she does feel that, but I've always felt like I'm selfish anytime I take out for myself. And so, and then feeling like I have to do it myself, because otherwise I'm asking other people to sacrifice for me. But then who else is going to do that? Me. I have to be here for me. And so well, I'm definitely learning how to balance time for myself, taking care of myself, and then taking care of my family and taking care of others in my job, which is can be very fulfilling, but then also very draining. And so then I need to go and take care of myself and not feel guilty about doing that. But I also recognize what she was saying about feeling like she's doing it all by herself. I've also experienced the ex-husband, and then trying to balance out a new blended family and figuring out what that looks like. And people, we've already kind of figured out what we want in life, and then moving in and realizing we don't always do things the same way and trying to figure out boundaries, which I didn't even know was a thing for a long time, you know. So yeah, just it's hard. It's been when you at the beginning you were talking about being grateful, and I have been struggling with that, with being grateful. And so I look around my life and I think I have a healthy body, my children are healthy, but there were so many other things. I was struggling to get out of feeling the lack instead of, like, I was getting swallowed up in the lack rather than being able to be buoyed up by the gratitude.
That's a great way of saying it. And yeah, there's a lot of, I think what I heard was this fear of being selfish and the programming that happens. Like, I'm just thinking of family programming, of church programming, of society programming, of don't be selfish. And then what's the fear is, if I'm selfish, I'll be rejected from the tribe. And then I won't, right? Like, if we look back at like caveman, cavewoman, which is really the fundamental programming of the psyche, then we can recognize that there's like a fundamental fear, especially for the feminine, of being selfish, and that we won't be wanted in the tribe, right? And so if we can become conscious of that fear and then go, oh, like, what do I want to choose instead? So the fear is, I don't want to be selfish because then I won't be loved, right? Is being unlovable maybe is like part of the things. A lot of the overgiving is the need, and I'm speaking for myself, but I think as like, well, why do we just give and give and give to the point of feeling drained after? And so does that resonate, kind of this feeling of like there's a fundamental programming in the brain going, don't be selfish, and then the fear is, I'm going to not be accepted, loved, part of the tribe. And then, so what's the flip side of, I don't want to be selfish, I'm afraid of being selfish? What's the flip belief or faith?
Well, in physical therapy, we teach our patients that if they don't take care of themselves, then they can't do the things that they need to do for a longer period of time. So it sets you back to not take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And so I think, like, you have to take care of yourself if you're wanting to take care of others, or you're wanting to do the things that you need to do, that you want to do. Like, taking care of yourself is the most important thing to being successful, productive, or whatever it is.
Yeah. So what's the new belief? The new statement?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so I've heard things like I'm a human too, like on Moms,
Okay.
Empower Moms, like I'm a human too. So that was like, I get to sit at the table and eat my food. I get to take naps. I get to, like, I'm a human too. That's a mantra. I choose me, and I get to thrive. I'm important too. I love myself, right? I love my others. And when I love myself, I can love others even more. So play around with which one is like, oh, that's it. Ooh, that feels like home in my body. That's what I'm stepping into. That gives me access point to the life that I want to create, rather than this feeling of guilt and shame and trying to, like, always make sure. I know I was just on a call earlier and they said, yeah, what about like when I had breast cancer a couple of years ago, and like, what did you kind of realize about that? And I said, I just learned to receive. I learned that I didn't have to always give more than I got. And I let people give to me, and people came and stayed at my house and served me. And like, I didn't have to be giving to people for them to love me. And when actually our relationships, and like, I felt so loved, and people love me so much, that they gave those things to me. So there's this like, oh, what if you just let people give to you? What if you were able to receive even more? I deserve to receive. That's a beautiful one, rather than like, I'm afraid to be selfish. Like, I get to be selfish. I get to receive more than I get, because the more you get, the more you can give. and you can only give as much as you can receive. So what if you increased your capacity to receive, Erica? Like, how cool would that be?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I think my struggle is more that I feel like I've learned to like who I am, but I still, for some reason, need that external validation from others. Like I need to prove to others that I am as valuable as I think I am, instead of just being okay with, I like me. This is, take it or leave it. If you don't like me, that's okay. You don't have to like me, but like, I need to be appreciated for some reason. I don't know.
You're not 40 yet though, Erica. Once you get 40, then you'll get there. Don't worry.
I'll be appreciated. Okay, good.
Oh, then you'll just know I don't give a crap what other people think.
Okay.
You're still in your 30s. You have to still think that way.
Oh yeah. And that's been hard. I think that's definitely been something that was taught to me, is that we have to please others, and that how other people perceive me is more important than how I perceive myself. And that's very, very flawed. But it's really hard to get out of. Like,
But what if you repeat it out loud in your mind every morning? What I believe about myself is more important than what other people think of me. It's reprogramming the brain. So what's powerful is you're recognizing the thought pattern that's not working for you. And then you just flip it, and then you have to repeat it. That's the thing. You can come to a class like this and go, oh yeah. But then if you don't actually repeat it in your mind, your programming is more powerful than a new concept. That's why people don't lose weight. That's why people keep smoking, because you know the information, but you don't have the reprogramming in your mind. And 90% of what you do, say, think, believe is subconscious. And so your subconscious is like fighting Goliath. You can't beat it. You can't beat your program. So we're going to reprogram. So think of that new belief and just repeat the heck out of it for the next 10 days, morning and night when you're in theta, and then come back and tell us how freaking awesome you are and you don't give a crap what anyone thinks.
I like that. I need to write that down before I forget it. I'm trying to find my journal.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to move on to Brooke, but Erica, I love you. It's so good to see you, and it's great to hear what's going on in your world. Yeah. Brookie, go ahead.
I'm loving this
Before I
work.
go, I recognize we usually go to 1:15 in this class, just so you know. And the class is every week. And then the program the Mastermind is monthly. So it's $333. And it includes one-on-one session hypnosis a month with me. And then you get your mantra for the month. And then we have these classes. And then we have a retreat where you get 50% off of the retreat. And it's $1,111. So it's $555. And so that's a 3-day retreat in Utah, and it's really magnificent. And that's also included. If you can come, it's kind of like a bonus. You get 50%. And if you can't come to that one, you can come to another retreat and get 50% off. So that's how the package works. But yeah, would love to have any of you in there, and wanted to make that invite. And so you can register. I'll just send you the link if you're interested. So reach out to Catalina or to me or to Brooke or whoever invited you. Okay, Brookie.
And if you haven't been to Paige's retreats, it's everything you could wish for and more, with body work and amazing food and movement and learning and laughter and crying and cathartic and just like fun time with women. It's all there in one. It buoys me up for the rest of the year. It's absolutely my favorite weekend.
I think Brooke's been to like 8 or 10 of them. So she knows, you guys. She knows. But they're magnificent.
I haven't been to all of them, but I always feel totally I missed out if I'm not there. Okay, so my new mantra that I'm establishing for myself today is I'm releasing the fear of
being in a codependent relationship, and I'm moving into I unconditionally adore, love, and accept myself and my husband.
Woo, say it again.
I unconditionally love, adore, accept myself and my husband.
You're amazing, Brookie. That's so good. Okay, what are you gonna do?
I'm just gonna keep repeating that over and over and over again. In the morning,
she's a quick study,
in the middle
isn't
of
she?
the day, in the evening, when I'm eating, when I'm going to the bathroom, I don't know, just all the time.
And when you wake up and you go to sleep, theta state is always the best thing. Or in meditation, right? Okay, Jolene. And my mom is last but not least.
Well, related to all of you, so thank you. So it's interesting, like Catalina, like you said, you're like over here sitting here by yourself and everybody repeats the same thing. It's funny because when you were asking, I mean, immediately, and it's been that, and I recognize it, but I am not enough and I am not lovable. That's been a repeat on me, and I think that's, caught up in that grief piece too. So I love what you just said, Brooke, but I am enough. I am lovable. And interesting enough, Paige, when you said to Catalina, do the desirable, that made me feel like I couldn't breathe. So when you said sit there and say I am blah blah, so so a question on that, when those feelings, because I'm like, I can say I'm lovable, and it's almost like it's just a word. But when you said say I am desirable, so how, when changing this to say that, how do you
You found a really good mantra if it scares the crap out of you.
Okay.
So you're on to something. Yay. Like, let's all celebrate Jolene because she just found one. Like, you want it to go like, oh crap, because when you say it and it's like, oh, like my whole being is like, but you want it, like, it's like something that if I like, who could you be if you could know that you're desirable on a deep cellular level?
Oh, see it, and just even saying that and to imagine that makes me like not breathe. It just immediately just clenches everything in the chest and just is like, so.
Yeah, think about it though. What could you be? Who could you be if you could just walk along the sidewalk and wake up in the morning and go like, I'm enough, I'm desirable, I'm wanted.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like I was repeating those. I'm like, oh, I can write that and I can say that. Hence you were saying, just flip it.
How could you show up differently if you could believe that?
Well, that's what I was just going to say. When you say that and walk along and you go, it's just me. I can accept. I think, I mean, both Nancy and a couple of you have even said that, is trusting in yourself and who you are and trusting who I am. It comes down to that, because it's almost that tied to the desirable piece, because not trusting in myself doesn't allow that. So, ooh, that's a big one.
It's a good one. So what does desirable mean to you?
I don't know. That's why I was actually just sitting there staring at the word. Like, I don't even know what that means.
Why that gives you the like.
Yeah. Like, whoa, that one's.
When were you last desirable?
Ooh. And I guess like you said, what does that even mean to me? Interesting. It's funny how we don't use certain words in our vocabulary.
Yeah. And why that word really, ugh, there's a trigger there.
Yeah, that's why I said it just like, oh.
Oh, that feels, yeah. So you've cut the word out of your vocabulary. When you hear it, it gives you your whole body feels it. There's almost like a trauma response to this word.
Yeah.
So now whether that's an invitation, of this, and it's definitely an invitation. If it's giving you a physical emotion, energy and motion is in your body when you say that. So but really that's something to look at. Like, when did you feel last desirable? When did someone tell you last that you're desirable? What does desirable, the word, mean to you? And kind of journal about this week, because I think there's something there in kind of just getting real with what that means, and then answering the question, like, who could you be if you woke up in the morning and you were like, oh, I'm wanted, I'm desired, I'm needed, I'm loved, I'm adored. Whatever that word has the connotation for you. Or if there's something else that you want to step into, maybe it's the connotation of desired is like a prostitute in Las Vegas or something, and you don't want to be desired, right? So if that's not, if the words are all we all have different associations with different words, right? So if that word for you is like, I don't actually even want to be that, then it's okay. But if it is something that you want to be, if it is something you want to step into, then try it on, try repeating it, try to visualize it, try to feel it in your body. And I want to hear how it goes.
Well, it's funny because it's something definitely, because even I wrote adored, that one has the same, blah, blah, blah.
Looking at all this and then the words in the thesaurus around that. There's a lot of interesting
Look it up
ones
in the
I'm just looking at.
dictionary. Look it up in the thesaurus. Like, study the words that make you go, wah, and really find out the connotation to it, right? And like, words hold energy for us. And that word for me is kind of like warm and smooth, right? And for someone else, it's like, wah, and for someone else, it's like, oh, I want that so much, right? Like, we all just have different reactions to different words.
Well, but even with that though, just saying I am lovable, it really, to me, it's just a word. Meaning, now that we're saying that and I'm feeling with what you're saying, is like, oh yeah, I can change it, I am lovable. But it really doesn't go anywhere.
And I love that you brought this up, like at the end, even just this is such a great way to kind of wrap it up, is like, find these things that really bring in the emotion. That's the other way that we've reprogrammed the brain. It's three things, and I said it before, but it's the repetition. We literally can create neural pathways, but we can't really do it without bringing in emotion. So if you think of the last, like, anything you remember from 10 to 20, 30 years ago, anything you can remember from that, it had emotion attached to it, or you wouldn't remember it, right? The emotion is the glue for the memories. And so it wires our brain. If it's high enough emotion, it's permanently, like, I mean, it's in an instant. If it's not so intense, we'll just have to think about it and remember it over and over, because it had enough and stickiness that we'll go back in our memory and remember it every day for a week, right? And then it's in our memory because we've repeated it. But if there's enough just emotion in one instance, it will reprogram the entire brain. Abuse, war, like huge car crash, like there's things that will make you believe a completely different thing about the world in an instant. But there has to be this high emotion. So we have to bring in the emotion. So that's why it's so great. I'm saying, yeah, we found something. Because if it already has emotion, let's play with that. But it's applicable to every one of your affirmations that you're going to reprogram with. Is you have to take this information, you can't just repeat it and have no emotion attached to it. It's not going to create the neural pathways. So it's really important that you do that meditation and bring the emotion in. Notice where you feel that. Notice where you're imagining it and where it's in your body, the intense, make it more intense. Imagine it more intense. Imagine that a big, huge hug, a huge smooch on the lips, whatever it is, right, Brooke? Like when you're doing that, like, what does it look to adore him? Oh, like it looks different than adoring a sister or something like this is right. So bring the emotion in. That's how it does. And then the third thing is a voice of authority, right? If a doctor says you're going to die tomorrow, you're going to die within 3 weeks. With enough authority, like 80% of the people die. It's unreal how fast a doctor's diagnosis happens when there's, right? This is a real thing. Placebo effect is real. The voice of authority is real. So what if you go into your own mind and you are your own voice of authority? And so that's hypnosis, right? So that's the third way that we reprogram the brain. So then we use all three of those and transformation happens. So awesome shares. Thank you so much. This has just been so great to see new faces and see these members, and we're missing some, so we'll send them the recordings. So we always have recordings for this, but thank you for being on. Happy summer. Brooke, you have one final thing.
One final thing, just a plug for hypnosis. I didn't know what it was until Paige started doing it, and it really is like play. It is so fun to do, especially with Paige. She's so good at playing, but then to reprogram through play and through imagination and through visualization is just so cool. So I hope you all get to have a chance to do that with Paige.
Yeah, and if you can't do the mastermind, but you just want to do a session, just set up schedulewithpaige.com and you can set up an intro call. I can find out what's going on with you and if you want to do some hypnosis sessions as well. So that's always available, and I have different packages for that. So, okay. Thank you. Thanks. Brooke's like my biggest fan. She always helps share. So thank you. I love you guys. Have an awesome week. We'll see you next week. Okay, bye.
Hey, Paige.
So good to see you, Erica. How fun.